Hi, today's video is going to be a bit of a reading update video. Perhaps in the future, I'll go back to the traditional TBR or wrap up format, but for now, this is just what feels intuitive for me, so I'm going with it. The last time I did a reading update, I was halfway through Reaper's Gale, Book 7 in Malazan Book of the Fallen. I have since finished the book, though it did take most of the month of August for me to finish it. And I did have some challenges with it. I found that some of the storylines that I connected with some of the storylines more than others, but the last section of the book completely caught me off guard, and I had a very emotional experience with that end. And I did find that a lot of the things that even I struggled with did become more meaningful upon reflection. And this was especially the case after having a wonderful discussion on my channel on battle and leadership in the series with Pete from Ponderings of Pete, Philip Chase, and Alan from the Library of Alexandria. That was such a wonderful discussion. It's spoiler-free for the first 20 minutes if you're interested, and then we do get into spoilers. But it made me very excited to get to Toll the Hounds, which I'm hoping to get to soon. We'll see. And then while I was reading Reaper's Gale, I also picked up the manga Orange, which I also mentioned in that reading update. And I really enjoyed my time reading Orange. So much so that I actually recently picked up the second collection from the library. So I'm hoping to get to that soon as well. And I never thought I'd be someone who would get into manga on my channel. That's just not a genre I ever thought I would gravitate towards. But again, I really enjoyed my time reading Orange. Now, this story does involve time travel, which was a key element for me to want to pick it up. And it's about this teenage girl who is classmates with this boy, this new boy in her class, and she receives letters from her future self telling her what to do to help prevent this boy dying by suicide. So I can understand why this is kind of a controversial book and controversial topic, because there is this idea that you as a friend might be able to prevent somebody from making that decision. But I really still enjoyed how the story unfolded. I really loved the time travel element. I really enjoyed the way that the relationship with the letters kind of changed throughout the story. I thought that was very interesting. So much so, like I said, that I picked up the second collection. So I'm curious to see where it goes from here. And who knows, maybe I'll start reading more manga, because I have been seeing more booktubers reading manga. It has made me more curious about it. And I think it was very nice to read a manga, just to have something a little bit lighter to read while reading something as dense as Malazan, as a Malazan book. And then after finishing both Orange and Reaper's Gale, I went into my reread of Dune by Frank Herbert. And this was fantastic for me. Now, I finished this book actually almost exactly 9 years to the day that I finished my first read through, and I loved it. I knew when I finished it the first time that I would want to reread the book. And I could definitely see myself wanting to reread this book several times throughout my life. I am still just thinking about it. And I want to save a lot of my thoughts because I have a very special Dune video coming out next week, which you all need to watch. I hope you all watch it. I'm very excited about it. So keep an eye out for that. But I will say that the book did leave me feeling kind of incomplete. And I think I remember that from my first read through. Like, it just feels like you need to read on to get the complete story. It doesn't feel like you get the complete story at the end. So that is something that I really hope to do eventually, is read on in this series. I didn't do that the first time I read through Dune, because somebody I was very close to at the time told me I would regret reading on in the series, and I really regret taking that advice. Even if I do find the other books not to my taste, at least I would know for myself rather than just taking the word from somebody. And now I feel like all this time later, it's harder to find room in all the books I want to read to fit in other books. I don't know if anyone else can relate. It doesn't seem like that was as much a problem for me pre-BookTube or so many years ago, before I knew about BookTube and all the fantasy books I need to read. And now I feel like, wow, how do I fit in all the books I want to read? There's just not enough time. And then after finishing Dune, I went right into She Dreams in Blood, which is the second book in the Obsidian Path series by Michael R. Fletcher. This is a grim, dark fantasy series. It's a self-published indie fantasy series. And I really enjoyed Blackstone Heart. I have a review for that. It's one of my first reviews on this channel, if not my first review on this channel. But I really enjoyed this story. It's told in first person about this character, Crane, who wakes up underground, buried underground, and he comes out, he digs his way out, and he finds he doesn't remember who he was or who he is, and he finds a fragment of his Blackstone heart, and once he merges with fragments of his Blackstone heart, which he finds scattered everywhere, then he starts to unfold the mystery of who he was. So it starts to bring back memories for him. And I really enjoyed the first book quite a bit. It's a very fast-paced book. And the second one is also very fast-paced. I'm already 60% through the book. It's a very quick read, and I feel like the prose is very accessible. So I'm hoping to finish that book soon and hopefully have a review out for that soon. I don't know if there are going to be other books in the series. I imagine that will be the case, but I think Michael R. Fletcher has some very interesting ideas. So I'm excited to see what else is in store. Once I finish that, I do hope to pick up more books by that author in the future. And meanwhile, I did pick up an audiobook. Now, I will be honest, I have not been in much of an audiobook mood recently for whatever reason, but I picked up the audiobook, The Child Thief by Brahm. I found out about this book from Brittany, from Books with Brittany. She's the one who brought this author on my radar. And it's a horror book. It's a retelling of Peter Pan. And it's very dark. So I don't know if it's the best to pair this with another very dark book I'm reading. It's very horrific, but I think the narrator is very good. I actually think that the audiobook format is very good for this particular story. I love the way the narrator is portraying the character of Peter and the way Peter's character is coming across through the audiobook. I'm really enjoying it so far, except that, like I said, I just haven't been in much of an audiobook mood. So it has taken me a little bit of motivation to try to pick it up. But when I do pick it up, I am enjoying it. So that's what I've been reading. Again, I don't know exactly what I'll be reading next, mostly because I'm moving and all my books are in boxes right now, but I might dig something out. I might dig out Toll the Hounds and get started on that after She Dreams in Blood. And I'm very much excited to continue on with that. So let me know if you've read any of the books I mentioned here in this video or what you're reading right now. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.